Hey everybody, my name is Lewis Meadows and the main topic for my presentation is the evolution of NBA YoungBoy. For those of you who are unaware of who this is, NBA YoungBoy is regarded as one of the greatest rappers of this era, and I'll be discussing his evolution as an artist and person, mainly by analyzing his music career through various songs and albums that he's released. Let's get started.
Who did the young people pick as their leader? NBA YoungBoy. Ooh, give me gas talking about that little boy.
Pictured in the top right is NBA YoungBoy along with one of his childhood friends, and on the left you just see a gif of him dancing around. So I'm going to tell you all a little bit about the background of NBA YoungBoy. Kentrell Gaulden, aka NBA YoungBoy, was born on October 20th, 1999, in the city known as Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana. As some of you may have already known, the state of Louisiana has had the highest murder rates in the country for over 30 years. On top of that, Baton Rouge has had a poverty rate of nearly 25%. This meant that kids like Kentrell didn't have time to be kids. He would emerge into the street life and quickly discover his love for music at the age of 16. He decided that this would be his way of making it out and nothing would stop him. In order to survive in a place as dangerous as Baton Rouge, YoungBoy used his music as a way to instill fear into others. At the age of 17, he released 38 Baby, one of his most infamous mixtapes. You can see the album cover in the top right, and this is YoungBoy on the left at the age of 17. This mixtape consisted of songs with titles such as I Ain't Hiding and Ride Out, where he makes it clear that he is living in a dog eat dog world and he will do whatever is necessary in order to survive. This is where we first see YoungBoy evolve through having to live in such a competitive environment. The rise of a young menace began, but was cut short as YoungBoy was arrested for first-degree murder 2 weeks after releasing his tape. 9 months later, the cold-blooded artist was released from prison and releases another mixtape. This one, titled AI YoungBoy. All eyes are on him as he faced backlash and critique from people who believed he simply wasn't a good artist and didn't have what it took to be one of the top rappers in the music industry. YoungBoy proved him wrong though. This tape consisted of aggressive and hardcore rap that people love to hear and played a major role in his rise to stardom. YoungBoy even established himself as untouchable, as he was now the biggest artist in his city and didn't believe that anybody had the guts to come for the top dog. That's not how it worked in Louisiana, though. There were still people in YoungBoy's hometown trying to take his life. YoungBoy realized that it didn't matter if he presented himself as this cold-blooded assassin or aggressive rapper 24/7, because there's always going to be competition and people trying to take what you have. In 2018, he released his debut studio album, Until Death Call My Name, where he began to show glimpses of a side he never showed. Although he was one of the biggest rappers out at the time, he was still in and out of jail and was living a very unsafe lifestyle. In this album, he asked two important questions. Who's gonna ride for me if it go down? Which basically means if I was to get locked up, who's gonna be there to support me on the inside and outside of my cell? And another question, who's gonna be there for my sons the day that I'm not around? At this time, he had 4 kids who he loved dearly and never wanted to be without. He started to acknowledge how he's been traumatized by what he's seen growing up and how he feels hypnotized into being a product of his environment. Although you can say that YoungBoy made his own decisions and has to live with them, any living thing that's put in a tough environment has to adapt in order to survive. That's all that he was doing. We continue to see this newfound emotional type of music from YoungBoy as he releases the single Gangsta Fever. The title of the song basically sums up what it's about. YoungBoy's been sick of living this gangsta type of lifestyle. He's sick of having to be on the aggressive all the time, and he just wants to be by himself because he feels like this gangsta fever has no cure. The combination of emotional rap and aggressive rap brought YoungBoy more supporters as he released AI YoungBoy 2, which went #1 on the Billboard charts. This solidified him as one of the top rappers in the game. The fame didn't mean anything to YoungBoy anymore, though, because he was hurting on the inside. He released the song Lonely Child, where he speaks on what he's been through and how he's been dealing with the pain all his life. Keep in mind, at the time, he's about 19 years old, but he had to grow up so fast that he never really had time to be a kid. Nobody had sympathy for YoungBoy, though. To some, it felt like trying to feel bad for a lion who's attacked half the jungle. In 2020, he released a song titled No Understand. The quote here shows, "Watch me burn before you people show me love." In this song, he talks about how he's misunderstood and has been through so much in his life to where he doesn't deserve the hate he gets. You can't really hate someone or something for how they operate in their environment. We learned in class that an environment influences how organisms operate. So, if anything, blame biology. While some began to understand the situation and started to feel for YoungBoy, most people still didn't care what he said or did. They felt that where you grew up or what you saw as a child was no excuse to be a bad person. As a way to cope with all the trauma and pain he's been dealing with, YoungBoy wrote a song titled To My Lowest. This song, like the others I previously mentioned, describe what he's been through, but this one right here is a little different. In this song, he says, all this pain I've been showing, I ain't never stop. I just keep on flowing. YoungBoy decided that it doesn't matter how people feel. He knows at heart he wants to be a good person, and he will continue to strive for greatness in order to take care of himself and his family. He will no longer allow his pain to take a toll on him mentally. Now, in 2022, YoungBoy is a free man and makes sure that he takes care of all of his children to ensure that they don't have to grow up in an environment like his and make the decisions that he had to make. Okay, I hope y'all have found this a little interesting, but I know some of y'all are wondering, what was that? What does this have to do with biology at all? Like, what does this even tie to? You can read it right here. It ties to the ideology that the type of environment an organism lives in can have a major impact in their life. If YoungBoy was born, like let's say anywhere else in a safe environment, he probably would not be anywhere near as aggressive and wouldn't have had to make those decisions that he made. He could have been a completely different person, but he was put in an environment where he had to adapt and do what was necessary in order to survive. And another thing, why is it important to just regular life? I would say you don't have to let your past decisions control your future. Because as we saw, YoungBoy was a menace at one point. One of the most aggressive rappers seems like that we've ever seen. And judging from his music, he started to turn his life around. He's no longer he's still aggressive, but he's not as aggressive. He started showing more emotion, started showing in his music how he wants to be a better person, how he wants to be there for his kids, doesn't want to get locked up, doesn't want to continue to promote violence. He wants to be a better person. Most people from neighborhoods like YoungBoy, they don't do things like that. They don't become better people. They don't really switch up like that. Usually, when you come from environments like this, you end up either dead or in jail. And he's changing the narrative by saying, hey, I know this may be who I used to be, but this isn't who I want to be. He wants to be better for his children and better for the people that listen to his music. He no longer wants to promote being this type of monster. And that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. Here are my references. Do we have any questions?